Speaking on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, speaking on behalf of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is a very, very big responsibility. I mean, we hear about Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala, how seriously he took giving fatwa. Imam Malik, we know, subhanAllah, at his time, he was the Imam of Medina. And they would say about him, when he was alive, that he is the most knowledgeable person on the face of this earth. But Imam Malik would say that when somebody would ask me a question, he would say, I would envision myself standing between heaven and hell. Like my answer could either push me towards the hellfire or push me towards Jannah. There's many stories narrated about Imam Malik. One of the stories is that a man comes to him all the way from Sham. Right? We're talking about the Jordan, Palestine, Lebanon area. All the way from there to Medina. Imam Malik was in Medina. And obviously there were no planes back then, so this journey took a long time. He travels all the way to come see Imam Malik, and he has like a list of questions. So what people would do back in the day is that they would pick a person from their community, and they would, whatever problems they're facing or issues that they're going through, they would write them all down, and they would give them to this individual and say, go to this sheikh or this scholar and go get the answers to this and come back to us. So one or two individuals would take that journey. They would travel to the scholar, and they would get the answers, and they would come back and convey that to the community. And so this man travels all the way from Sham. He comes all the way to Medina. He sits with Imam Malik, and there's different narrations of the story, but it's about 40 questions or so that he asks Imam Malik. And to the majority of to over 20 questions, Imam Malik gives an answer. But there's almost half of the questions that Imam Malik says, Allahu A'lam. He says, La adri, Allahu A'lam. He says, I don't know, and Allah knows best. And now this person, you can imagine he's going through question after question. What is your opinion? What is what do we do in this case? Imam Malik gives an answer. He asks him another question. Imam Malik says, Allah A'lam. La adri, Allahu A'lam. And then it happens over and over and over again. And this man now is getting frustrated. He's getting frustrated with not hearing all the answers. And so now at the end of it, he's asked his 40 questions, and to almost half of the questions, Imam Malik has said, I don't know. Wallahu A'lam. This man gets a little bit frustrated. And he goes, oh Imam, do you know I've come all the way from Sham, and I came from a people who told me that there is no one on the face of the earth as knowledgeable as Imam Malik. He says, what do I go back and tell my people? Imam Malik says, go back and tell your community, tell your people that Imam Malik said, La adri. Imam Malik said, I don't know. And what Imam Malik here is teaching this person and the community is the responsibility of speaking on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How serious it is. And Imam Malik, one time a man comes to him. He asks him a question, and Imam Malik says, listen, I don't know the answer. Let me consult with some other scholars and give you, and maybe we can come to a conclusion regarding this issue that you've asked me about. And come back to me tomorrow, or come back to me at a later time. And this man goes and he comes back, and Imam Malik says, listen, I consulted with the other scholars and I don't have an answer for you. And this person says, oh Imam, it's not a big deal, like it's not a big issue. Right? It's just like a little issue, like we just need an answer, like just tell us something, in other words. It's just a light matter. And Imam Malik says, it's a light matter? Haven't you heard Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِنَّا سَنُلْقِي عَلَيْكَ قَوْلًا ثَقِيلًا. We have sent down upon you a weighty word. This is a huge responsibility. We know the Prophet ﷺ, sometimes when he was receiving wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would feel the physical weight of the wahi, of the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To the point where sometimes his camel would sit down out of the weight, the physical weight that the Prophet ﷺ is feeling. And what are the prophets other than inheritors? What are the scholars other than inheritors of the prophets? The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْعُلَمَاء وَرَثَةُ الْأَنْبِيَاء. The ulama, the scholars, they are the inheritors of the prophets, meaning that's what the prophets don't, the prophets don't leave behind dirham nor dinar. They don't leave behind wealth. They leave behind knowledge. And so when a person speaks on behalf of Islam, they are carrying on They are delivering, they're conveying the message that the prophets brought. And that is why it is important to feel that responsibility when that fatwa is being conveyed. And even as a mustafti, someone who is seeking the fatwa, we have to have that, we have to understand the sacred nature of this knowledge.